Plays flat to Campbell. Campbell on the outside and try time to the skipper. Tyler Campbell. Cut pass out to Stoward. Right foot, left foot, try. Reed Stoward in full flight. Inside to Campbell. Tyler Campbell.
Media Vintage Sports Network presents Play-by-Play podcast with Jordan Hughes.
Alrighty, hello and welcome, Play-by-Play Rugby. Great to have you with us once again. Jordan Hughes, Tyler Campbell and Rian Stowers alongside. Firstly, boys, how are you guys? How's your weekend?
It's good. He's starting with us this week, mate.
Start with you.
I like it. Yeah, not a bad weekend. Pretty big weekend for me, to be fair, but we won't get too much into that.
How you, brother? You good?
Yeah, chill one. Stayed at home.
Chill one, you reckon?
Yeah.
That's the one I saw. Anyway, we'll get into that. Firstly, big thank you to everyone tuned into the Levi Sisters episode. Plenty of positive chat from that one, and thank you for the girls for coming on. But the guests keep on coming. We've got a very big one tonight. So joining us on the podcast is a former Melbourne Rebel, Australian Wallaby fly half. He went to the Rugby World Cup last year, and then he dominated all the headlines moving to Rugby League and signing a 2-year deal with the Gold Coast Titans. He is Carter Gordon. Hello, Carter.
How you going?
Good, man. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for joining us. Firstly, we'll start. I guess it's been a pretty crazy 18 months. I want to start. You two played a bit of schoolboy rugby together back in the day?
Yeah. I remember the selectors coming up to me and they were like, you know what, you did amazing things for this bloke. and I think that's just where his career took off from there, eh?
So it's all you, is that what you told me?
Oh, that's what they told me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carter, thoughts?
Yeah. Was that you who got sent off in that game?
Nah, can't have been.
Nah, we played 2 years of a bit of rep footy together.
Is this Queensland schoolboys?
Yeah. First year he was playing halfback, second year he was on the wing, so I don't know what he was up to, but it was that was good, bro. I love playing with Reen. He was a freak back then, and I don't know. How you going now?
No, not too good.
Shut up. Was that a 9-10 combo when back then? Were you playing half?
Yeah, I played a bit of 9-10. It was good.
I was coming off the bench.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How'd you go on that Nationals that year?
I think we came second.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah, that was our first year. Yeah. Came second. And then the second year,
Yeah,
we went bad, eh?
fourth, I think.
New
fourth.
South Wales were both the teams in the finals.
There you go. Well, thank you. Good you, mate. Booking guests this time. You're getting done.
We're roommates as well.
Really?
Both years.
How was that? What's it like as a roomie?
Nah, he was good. He tried to big dog me the first year.
And what happened the second?
Nah, we were chill by then.
Yeah, all good. All right, we'll get into it. We'll sort of work backwards of how it's been for you, Carter. Obviously, you've signed to Rugby League at the Gold Coast Titans. Firstly, how are you settling into the Gold Coast lifestyle and then making the transition?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So just moved down a couple of weeks ago. I was doing the transition from Brizzy every morning, and that was getting a bit how you going. But moved down to Miami, so it's a bit closer to training, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, just wanted to get back to Queensland, and the weather's been unreal and really settling in now. And then just in terms of training, it's been really good. The boys are really welcoming. They've built pretty good culture there at the Titans. I know like the games and stuff haven't really replicated that, but they've had a good year in terms of building that culture, and they had a few injuries and stuff, but they've been really welcoming and helping me learn the game, and yeah, it's been good.
You've had a few cracks at Tweed so far. How are you finding it? How was the first game you played? 'Cause that was first ever Rugby League game, is that right?
Yeah, first ever Rugby League game. I've watched a fair bit of league, but that was the first game I played, and I was playing in the centre, and it was actually quite weird. I wasn't too nervous. It was I guess we were out in Dolby, and there wasn't really too many people watching or any expectations and stuff like that, so that was good. And yeah, it was first game, so I was thinking pretty hard around playing the ball right and all that, but it was good.
I watched a bit of that game. Obviously, the first carry sort of got an early touch. Did you find that you'd be playing centre that early? Did you think you were kind of going to slot into the halves? Or
They said to me pretty early on that we'll just throw you in the centre and just learn the game from out there. Don't have to like call the plays or run the shape and stuff, and you can learn counting numbers and all that from the centre's pretty easy. So they said we'll throw you in there and you can learn, and then we'll move you into the halves. And then luckily enough, the last couple of weeks I've been playing in the halves and been really enjoying it.
I think like a thing from a switch from union to league, especially from 5'8" to into the halves, do you like notice the difference, like the policies and D and stuff like that? And like, I feel like as a fly half in union, you get a bit more time to dish off, whereas in league you have to dig in. How are you finding that adjustment?
Yeah, it's a little bit different, I just find, especially in the attack around like getting into the line.
Yeah.
Like in union, you can almost get the ball on the line sometimes, whereas in league you're always moving into the line and getting into the line. So that's been a little bit of an adjustment. And then as well, like with the line speed, it's a little bit different. In league, like obviously they're trying to get up 10 pretty quickly. Like they're back 10, but they're moving up 10 pretty quickly as well. So they're trying to get to you pretty quickly, but then they're stopping. So originally I was like getting the ball and trying to dig in, and then I'd pass as they stopped. So I was like, oh, I'm actually 2 meters away from the line. So it's just learning how to like get into the line a bit better, and all that's been a bit different. But in the D as well, like there's just different policies and stuff. Like obviously like kind of trusting your inside shoulder, and they talk about that a lot, and like not getting done on the inside. Pretty similar to Union, but it's been good, bro. Yeah.
Has there been anything that's really surprised you since coming in that maybe you thought wasn't expecting coming to league?
I'm not too sure. I went in with a pretty open mind, just trying to really, because I didn't really have any runs on the board in league. Like, hadn't played any games, hadn't really done too much training. Like, did a little bit of training as a kid, but never actually played a game. And then, so I was pretty open-minded. Like, didn't really know what to expect, but so nothing really shocked me. Like, you can kind of see it on TV and how it all happens, but yeah.
I think that clip that went viral, a lot of league guys probably wouldn't know who you are. And then I saw the comments when you signed on the Gold Coast Titans, oh, who's Carter, what's his story? Whereas us Union guys, we do. But when you threw that long ball over the top, was against PNG a few weeks ago, that was sort of like, oh shit, this guy's got, and your long passing game, your kick, I reckon that's going to be your point of difference. Do you feel like those skills are going to transform really well into league?
I actually think they're a little bit different, Like I just find you probably don't really have the opportunity to throw those balls too often. Like the wingers in rugby league are really good defensively, and sometimes when you're watching it, you're like, oh, how come they're going in? How come they're staying out? Kind of thing. But now that I'm in their training, I can understand why, and they're kind of like if the centre goes in, then it kind of leaves the winger having to go in as well. So I threw a good ball in that game, but at training and stuff, it's a little bit different with Titans boys, like guys who are doing a little bit better and all that, and like you got Jojo Fafita and those got mad hops, so he's jumping up. You got to throw it pretty hard to get over him. So.
Have you found just sort of making or having a lot more contact in league? Like I know the half channel teams tend to target that and sort of send their bigger bodies through that channel. I know it's sort of similar to Union, but do you feel there's a bit more contact, or do you think it's relatively similar at the moment?
Yeah, I think there's more contact. In Union, you're kind of making that first or second phase tackle and then getting out to the edges, and whereas in league, you're kind of in your same channel the whole game, and especially playing in the halves, you got back rowers coming over you the whole game, and it's just about making good decisions there and what their half's doing and all that. But I definitely find there's a bit more contact, and it's definitely more upper body contact. Like you can see it on TV, but yeah, there's a lot more upper contact. Like you don't see too many guys chopping first man. Like you see a lot of guys coming in second man and hitting legs, but second, third man hitting legs, but you don't really see too many guys chopping first off.
First up contact. Grapple, eh?
Yeah, whereas in Union, like that first point of contact's normally a chop.
Well, we grew up playing Union, it's always chop focus. Is that going to be a bit of an adjustment for you up top a bit?
Yeah, I think it's just tackle selection as well. Like there's times where you're going to have to chop, and there's times where you're going to have to go high and try like slow the ball down and stuff. So just around like understanding when to do those. So
is an early lean of where you want to play, centre, six? Like what have you thought so far?
Yeah, I want to play in the halves. Yep. I want to be ball playing and stuff, but I think as well, like I want to be running the ball a little bit as well. So I'm not too sure really. Like I think just the more that I learn and get a pre-season under my belt, kind of figure out those things. Yeah,
when we first got announced, we were talking about Matt Rogers, saw that running sort of six, I guess dual international, that was we're sort of thinking the comparison. I'm curious though, when did the idea of rugby league first pop into your head? Obviously we get into the Wallabies, the Rebels, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. When did the idea of league or get mentioned to you that thought, oh, this could be an option for you?
The idea really only came around this year.
Okay.
Like I always thought about it, and it was always kind of in the back of my mind, kind of how I'd go. And I've had a lot of like guys, obviously working with the guys in the Wallabies around Jason Riles and Brett Hodgson and all those guys, kind of like saying like, oh, you go good at league and all that. And then growing up watching a lot of league, my old man played league, and so it was kind of always in the back of my mind, but I never really thought like I would change. And then like kind of spoke to the Titans like pretty early on in the year. I was like pretty surprised with how they presented everything, and so just how like professional it seemed, and I think the biggest thing that I found like talking to them is just like that sense of care.
Yeah, okay.
I think like they genuinely care for their players and care for the people they're trying to get, whereas like I sometimes find in Union you're kind of fighting to stay somewhere or something that. So it's kind of a little bit the opposite, but yeah, that kind of took me by surprise. And then, yeah, I think kind of just ran with that and was weighing up decisions all year, and then finally made a decision to transfer.
Do you think the demise of the Rebels, sped up the timeline of this happening? Like, if the Rebels are financially all good, is it different? Does that make sense?
It was probably one more thing to think about.
Yeah.
But we knew pretty early that Rebels weren't in a good spot. So we didn't obviously find out or get confirmed on that until the end of the year. But we knew pretty early on that it wasn't looking good.
How's Desi? What's he like as a bloke?
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about care before, but he cares so much about the players, and you see him blowing up and stuff in the box and getting angry, and you see all these highlights of him blowing up in the change rooms. But it's because he cares and he wants to win and he wants the boys to play their best. So
nice, man. Boys?
Do you think you'll sort of, I don't want to say start a trend, but do you think there's going to be more sort of persuasion for rugby players starting to go across? You look at Markey on the weekend, had an absolute blinder and had a full highlight package in one game. Do you think league now starts looking more at union players? And obviously the money in Australia in particular probably suits that. Do you think that's going to be start of a trend of more players coming across? I know it's happened in the past.
Yeah, I think potentially. I think, like, given that I'm kind of the first one in that halves position, in that fly half position to transfer it might, just depending, I guess, on how I go and how the other clubs see it, I guess. But, yeah, like you see guys like Markey who are just freak athletes, and you see a lot of those guys in union who could transfer or have come across to union from league. But, yeah, it'd be interesting to see like the 10s, 12s, 15s to see if it starts something, or if clubs are more interested in having a look at those guys from union.
Yeah, it's exciting to see how it all pans out. We'll sort of, I guess, go back into the union side of things a little bit. Obviously, Melbourne Rebels, a club very close to your heart. 46 caps, you're there since 21. That was your first sort of opportunity at Super Rugby level. I guess, what does that club mean to you and your whole experience there?
Yeah, I'm super grateful for the Rebels. Like, they gave me the shot to play Super Rugby and play professional rugby, and yeah, like, I loved it there. Melbourne was such a great city to live in, and we were building such a good culture at the Rebels. Like, it took a few years, but this year especially, we had a really good team, really good roster. We probably didn't play the best some of the games, but we were definitely building in a good direction, and it was sad to see it go. And like, a lot of boys who have grown up in Melbourne and all that were pretty upset, and it was hard to watch some of that stuff. But yeah, like, it meant a lot to me playing there. Like, the coaches gave me a shot, and the club and everyone there was super welcoming to new people every time we were there. And yeah, it was just, it kind of went from a journeyman club to a bit more of a serious club by the end of it, which was good to see.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. We had Josh Canham on the pod a few weeks ago, and he was saying it was that flight to Fiji. I think everyone sort of found out officially. Obviously, he being a Melbourne boy, how hard was it? You know, we heard all the media chat all year, but how hard was it to separate the two, performance and then all the off-field nonsense?
Yeah, well, I actually didn't play that game. I had a concussion, but we found out, I think it was like 30 minutes before we meant to get in the cars and go to the airport. So it was kind of a tough one, eh? Like, the boys were kind of weighing up, do we want to play? Do we not want to play? But in the end, obviously, the boys were fighting for contracts at that point, so they wanted to get out there and put their best foot forward and hopefully try earn something at different clubs or in a different country. But yeah, it was tough. Like, even for me, like, we kind of knew it was coming, but then hearing it, it was like, oh damn, like, kind of hit a bit different to what I thought it was going to. So yeah, it was unfortunate, but I think the boys went over there and played hard and just tried to enjoy it, because we knew it was only a few more games left for us.
Do you have a favourite Super Rugby memory or memory in the Rebels jersey when you look back on it?
I think like this year in general was just really enjoyable.
Yeah.
I think last year was good too. Like, it's kind of that first year where we started putting some performances into play and started playing some better rugby and that. But it's hard to go past debuting.
Yeah.
I know probably everyone says that who comes on, but yeah, it's when you debut for Super Rugby, it's you hold it pretty close to your heart. But then I think, actually just thinking about that, I reckon the best memory I had at the Rebels was playing with my younger brother Mason. He debuted this year, and we're lucky enough to play together. And we've played in a few games together before that, but first professional game together, it was pretty cool. And he scored a try, and I don't think I felt that good on the field. Watch my little brother score a try.
New Zealand Day, that one?
Yeah, it was in New Zealand. Yeah,
how good. I was going to touch on, obviously, the post Rebels. Obviously, the Titans were in your ear. What was the chat from internally Australian rugby? Were the Waratahs looking, Reds, overseas? Like, what was that sort of process like? Obviously, you can say as much as you want here.
Yeah. It's I was talking to Titans pretty early, like I was saying, so I was kind of weighing up all the options and what I thought was going to be best for me and best for my family, and kind of like everything moving forward. And like I was thinking about it for a long time, and I actually think like towards the end, it was kind of frustrating. Like it went kind of the whole season, and then the start of the season wasn't really thinking about it, and then by the end of it, I was like, I wouldn't find out information until like Friday morning, Thursday night, and it's just like I'm either playing tonight or I'm playing tomorrow, and that's all I can think about, and kind of all that stuff. So it got a bit funny in the end, but like Rugby Australia, it was kind of a funny one. Like there was a lot of guys coming off contract, a lot of guys at the Rebels they were trying to work out, and yeah, look, I wanted to come back to Queensland.
Yeah, okay.
Like not afraid to say that. Like it's a big reason why I came back to the Titans, and look, they kind of just wanted me to go to the Waratahs, and I wasn't too keen. So
wanted to come home.
Yeah, like there was like obviously a couple of reasons why. Like they hadn't had a head coach named, a few boys leaving that I knew. Obviously, they didn't play too well this year. Wasn't too keen to live in Sydney, so there was a lot of reasons. But just wanted to come back home, and it was kind of that made the decision a lot easier. And then also with the transition, like I'm 23 now, so I was young enough to make the transition to league and have a crack and see what I can do. Whereas if I signed on a few more years in Union, then I wouldn't have the same opportunity to come over.
Yeah, for sure. Tyler?
Less sort of personal question. With the Rebels disbanding, obviously, big loss in terms of development pathways for Australian rugby and players coming through. But do you think it's going to sort of bolster these Australian sides sort of going into the next super season? Like you look at the depth we're seeing in the Reds in particular, and the sort of back five of the forward pack. You got Isaac and Nella going down to the sort of Tars. Do you think it's going to help them to perform better in the next sort of 12 months?
Yeah, you'd think so. Like we had a good team at the Rebels, and now to have a lot of those guys kind of split up into other clubs, like I'm sure those teams will get stronger. I guess it's just now those guys putting in the time now to learn the new systems of the new teams and stuff, because it's quite easy to roll over each year running the same systems and all that at one club, but then move into another club and then learning systems, making sure you're around all the communication, all that stuff's another thing. So it's just important those boys really rip in, and I know they will. Like I know the work ethic they had at the Rebels, so I know they'll do well, and hopefully it does bolster those teams and they do a bit better next year in the super season.
I guess the thinking is that 4 teams stronger, we can actually hopefully push these New Zealand teams, but time will tell, I guess. Move to the Wallabies. Made your debut over in Pretoria against the Springboks. Obviously scored a cracking try as well from memory off the bench. What a place to debut.
Yeah, it was awesome, eh? Like I've never seen an atmosphere like it. I think it was like 70, maybe close to 80,000 people there, and it was just. I remember running out in the warm up, and there was a coach probably 5 meters away from me, like telling the boys what to do, and it just looked like his mouth was moving and no words were coming out. It was crazy. It was super loud, and I remember sitting on the bench like in the first half, just nervous as like. I didn't do a single rep during the week with the team.
Because who was 10, Quade?
Yeah, so Quade. So like the bench boys didn't get a single rep running at training during the week.
Shit.
So I was in the first half, like I was like, oh my God, like just trying to kind of think about what I would call and like what Quade was calling and all that stuff, and then managed to get on in the last quarter or whatever, and. Yeah, I remember just getting out there, and I kind of just turned all that nerves. Just felt like it just went into energy, and I was just running around like an energy bunny. But yeah, it was obviously we lost, but it was unreal to debut, and it's pretty funny. I had my parents over there at the time. Had my mum over there because my brother was playing in the under-20s Oz team. Yeah. Over there in Joburg, and they flew over, and when the people around them found out that I was debuting. They had just drinks lined up, all the crowd buying drinks along the side.
How good.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I think they loved it as well. So it was an unreal experience and something that I'll cherish forever.
Obviously from there you kind of stemmed, was it the next week you got the starting nod? Or a couple of weeks later?
Yeah.
Did you feel sort of the pressure come on a bit more then, that you're sort of pushed into that quite quickly? I assume for you probably felt it was a little bit unexpected, and how did you sort of deal with that, and how did you go sort of looking into that game, the next game with the 10 on your back?
Yeah, I played one more game against Argentina in Sydney, whereas Lenny Ikatel
That's right, you went
got
to 12.
injured. Yeah, so I played 12 for pretty much the whole game. And then I think off the back of that, I felt a little bit more confident in terms of playing, just having a whole game kind of under my belt then. And then, the next week was in Melbourne, and Eddie came up to me at the start of the week and I said, "Oh, mate, I think you might start." And I was like,
There was the big letters there, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I was like, "So, am I starting?" Or and when he said that, I was like, "Oh, like nerves kind of hit me a little bit, like in training." And that was on the Monday or whatever, and I was nervous and all that, but kind of got into the week, and Eddie actually said something to me in Pretoria. He's like, "Mate, just be yourself. Like, just you don't have to go out there and be anyone you're not. Just go out there and play your game and just do your thing." And I kind of carried that all the way through with me, I think. So just kind of took it with both hands, and it was good. I was nervous, and like going into that Bledsoe, like it's pretty funny. I had a few actually bad kicking games the last couple games, but that week, me and Quade were kicking, and we were kicking unreal at the post, and like couldn't miss anything. I get out there and like missed my first 2 kicks, and I'm just a little bit headless. But I just found in terms of the game, like I felt good playing and felt good running the ship and calling the plays and stuff. But obviously that kicking was a bit frustrating. And that kind of carried on to the whole year pretty much.
I think from like the outside, and obviously like Eddie Jones. So from the outside, and it sort of looks like he didn't really know what he was doing, but you could kind of tell that he was like very passionate about the team, and they were talking about how he was trying to take the attention sort of off you guys so that you could do your thing and be in the head of the headlines and stuff. What was it like for you, like actually in camp with them? Like, I mean, you just said before you didn't even get a team run before your debut, but
yeah, that was I think before the World Cup, I thought Eddie was like the best coach I ever played under.
Yeah.
And like, not to say it wasn't when I was at the World Cup, but just like when we were before the World Cup, it felt like we were building really nicely. We were really establishing how we wanted to play. Like we all kind of had a kind of play goal that we wanted to achieve, and he was good, man. Like he's kind of like a bit like Desi now, actually. Like he'll spray you.
Yeah.
Like if you do something wrong or that, but then he'll come up and be like, "Mate, like this is why I'm spraying you. Like this isn't good enough, and you need to work on that and all that stuff." So like that's what I found unreal with him. And then we kind of got to the World Cup and things kind of changed a little bit. Like we had some more guys come into the team, a bit more power and that, and then we kind of changed the way we were playing to a bit more power game.
Yeah.
A bit more through the forwards and stuff. And I don't know, I think when that started to not really go as planned, it kind of all fell down a little bit. And then having, like, we had good assistant coaches, but I think, like, maybe those guys probably weren't great support for Eddie. Yeah. Like, they were good for support to us as players. I think, like, we could go to them and talk to them, and they were always open to chat and stuff. But I think, like, I don't think Eddie had those people that, like, he needed to get through it as well. Like, everyone talks about what he did to, like, what happened with the players and all that. But I just think, like, he probably didn't have that support he needed as well. You know? So
because it was the 2 league coaches, assistants.
Yeah.
Like, I guess from the outside looking in, people saw that and go, "What's going on here? These leaguers don't know the union." And how was it internally? Like, was it the right selection call? Like, what did you make of it inside?
Well, it's tough. Like, the coaches got thrown together, like, not even a year out.
We had a few resign, like last.
We had one pull out just before the World Cup.
Yeah. Brad pulled out just before the World Cup, but like the coaches kind of got thrown together just not even a year out from the World Cup. So like, one, it's probably going to be tough to pull in other coaches in that time frame. So like, those guys got in there and did the best job they could. So it's like, it is what it is. Like, we kind of all experienced it, and I'm like, for one, like, absolutely stoked that I went through that. Yeah. Because I felt like I came out of it and really had to reflect hard and understand what happened. Like, in the time, it's so hard to understand what's happening and all that, and like, you don't know why, and then you look back on it and you're like, wow, like, I'm pretty glad I went through that. Like, I feel like I'm a better player, I'm a better person. Like, experiencing that just made me better in general.
Because I feel like it happened all of a sudden. We're going to the World Cup, and you were the main man. You were the starting 10. I guess maybe a bit premature than what you would have thought as well. When you got over to Paris and you realize, oh, I'm going to be the 10 here to control this team. What was it like for you internally?
Yeah, I think even like on the selection, like I was happy, like stoked to be there. Obviously, like it was, but like it was when I obviously saw like Quade and that wasn't there, I was kind of like, oh, like that's interesting. Like, wonder what happened there. Yeah. Like, just didn't really hear anything about it. But like when I was over there, that was probably one thing that like I even reached out to Quade when I was over there. I was just like wanted to chat to him and kind of pick his brains a little bit, just because like he's obviously been through so much and he's a great mentor. Like I still catch up with him now. He's just a great bloke to talk to and he's experienced it all. And I probably needed someone like him over there.
Yeah.
Even if I was coming off the bench after him, like I mean, I feel like that would have been like,
because that was all the headlines. Who does you and Dono go to talk to? You didn't have anyone.
Yeah, and that was kind of the thing, eh? Like we didn't have, like we had a few guys there like Slips and Nick White and all those guys who were kind of been through it a little bit, but it's kind of hard. Yeah, it's hard as a 10 going to those guys, and yeah, it was kind of a weird one. I didn't know what to think when I was over there, to be honest. Like I was like, oh, I don't know. I went to some of the coaches, didn't really know who to talk to, and I was kind of brain was a little bit scrambled there, but yeah, coming back, like I said, it was just it was an experience I'm glad I had, because I know I've learned from it.
Well, yeah, let's be positive about it. Your first Rugby World Cup, obviously a dream come true as a kid. Take away from the results, how was it, the whole experience? Obviously, friends did a great job as a host. What was it like from that point of view?
Yeah, it was good. I think like it's hard to say that it was unreal, because obviously we didn't play, and I personally didn't play how I wanted to play. So it was frustrating in that aspect. But we were in St. Goyer, and it was kind of a little French town, and not too much English was spoken, and we were kind of like an hour out of the town. So it was like we had to kind of travel back in if we wanted to go to the shops and all that stuff. And but it was like, and I did love it being over there. Like it was good being with the boys. Like I love going away with trips on the boys, and it was a good experience. Like I've never been to France before, so that was cool. Didn't do a whole lot of travel after, because I did something to my meniscus just before the last game and didn't play, and went home a week early. So it was a good experience, and it's pretty cool that I can say I've been to a World Cup and all that stuff. So
I guess when we saw the 2-year deal, there was hopes obviously Home World Cup 27. I guess the door on Union not completely shut. Well, you don't know. Too hard to say.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like I want to give my absolute hardest to rugby league, and I want to try and be the best player I can be in rugby league. And I'm gonna try and hopefully play rugby league for the rest of my career. But who knows? Like that, something might happen, something might not happen. Like we just don't know. I guess we'll just take it year by year, and even kind of month by month. Like I just want to be putting my best foot forward, learning as much as I can. And
you're only 23 years old. You're all ahead of you.
Yeah, I know. So it's pretty crazy to think like still be 25 at the end of this. It feels like I've sold my life away. But I'm pretty keen to have a really red hot crack in rugby league.
I got one. Obviously, you talked about coming back to Queensland. Do we see Carter Gordon hopefully wearing a Queensland instead of Origin jersey one day?
Hopefully not.
What are you trying to say, man?
Off the Blues.
He's a Blues fan down there.
Yeah, look, I'm not too sure. Like, I just want to try my best for the Titans and do my best and put my best foot forward there, and hopefully learn as much as I can along the way. I think Origin has always kind of been in the back of my mind, like I was saying before. But it's look, I don't want to say that my goal is to play Origin in 2 years. You know, like it's if I kind of get to that level and I'm able to do it, then I'd absolutely be keen to.
Read anything else for the big fella?
Yeah, did you sort of think, because I know that when we heard that you were done with the Rebels, we were like, fuck, we got West this week. Is Carter going to play for them?
Yeah, you guys have a bit of chat.
Yeah, I was messaging you. I was like, you're not allowed to fucking play. But did you think that like a league would get you in there like so quick? Because you came down here and you still were on your contract with Rugby Australia, right? Yeah, so did you think that you were going to be able to play much league this year?
It was kind of always in the talks.
Oh, yeah.
I think like we were always wanted to try and make it work.
Yeah.
Just because if I could get in early, like I'd have my chance to learn a bit more and kind of play a few games like I have, and just kind of put myself in a better spot going into pre-season. And like if it didn't happen, then I would have been playing West.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've probably
Probably playing this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, potentially. My little brother's playing 10 at the moment, so I'll be behind him probably. But it was always kind of the plan to try and play a couple games at the back end of the year, and it's been good, bro. Like I feel like I've learnt heaps from it, and like if I started pre-season and not had this time, I'd be rattled.
Yeah,
Like I'm glad I've had this experience now leading into that.
Yeah, well, you look like you're thriving out there, eh?
Nah.
The long balls. I kept telling all my workmates, I was like, he's got a fucking pill. And then that highlight comes up and they're like, holy fuck.
Yeah,
And
see,
I
all
was
these
like,
leaguers don't know that.
Yeah, I know.
What I want to see is a goal kicker, mate. You can bang over them 50. These leaguers can't do that.
Like 40-20s.
Yeah, they are. I've actually found with the goal kicking, it's the balls I find easy to kick.
Easier than
off the tee.
Okay.
Yeah, I
right.
find they're a bit more closer to an AFL ball in terms of like being top heavy.
Yeah, okay.
So like end heavy. So I feel like they rotate end over end a lot better than.
Does that mean you're gaining distance, you reckon? We got
No, I actually feel like because the end's heavier,
Mm.
it's like more of a thud. So it's not much. You're not going into the ball as much. So I don't reckon it's going as far, but I reckon it's flying better.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Goal kicking still something you want to try and do in the 13-man
Yeah,
game?
yeah, absolutely. I think like this year, well, the last couple of years, I've been like super frustrated with my kicking, and I've actually gone back to kicking off a high tee, which is what I did. I grew up kicking off, and I find it's just a bit more natural for me. Like I'm not getting. I find when I was kicking off the low ball, the low tee, I'd have to get right on top of it, and I've got pretty long legs, so sometimes if I slightly mishit it, you would have seen in some of the games this year, I'm hitting dead ducks and they're going under the crossbar and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Back to the old sharpsharpshooter.
yeah, that's kind of what I used to kick off, and I've
Yeah.
moved back to a little tee like that, and I just find the misses are a lot better.
Okay, cool. So I'll give you a bit of a break for the time being. We'll talk about the Rugby Championship, boys. Round 3 preview this weekend. Of course, a classic World Cup final rematch, New Zealand versus South Africa over in Johannesburg. $1.37 the Springboks, $2.90 the All Blacks. The line is 7.5. AB's bounced back last week. What are your thoughts here, Ree?
Bit nervous, eh?
Yeah.
Bit nervous. South Africa don't look like there's any chinks in their armour at the moment, so I don't know. The All Blacks are going to have to really step up. Barrett's back,
You haven't seen teams yet, but yeah.
surely.
Do you reckon Barrett at 10?
No. Scott Barrett.
Oh, Scott Barrett. Yeah, he's back. Yeah.
Big
he's back.
inclusion.
Yeah, that will be massive for us because our line-out has not been looking too shabby at the moment.
South Africa haven't named their team yet. Normally by this time they have. So from my understanding, they're looking like they're 4 locks down. So Itzebeth is 50-50. What's the massive one that's bigger than him?
Simon.
Yeah, he's out.
Got to hold them up.
Yeah.
Viking. So he's out as well. So I think if there is a chink in the armour, it's second row. There's talks about putting Steph de Toit in there,
Okay.
which obviously they can bring a bigger that number 8 off the bench that normally comes off the bench starting. But yeah, South Africa do look good at the moment. But hopefully, like there's a lot of talk around Scott Robinson and how good he is and what he's going to do for the All Blacks. If there's a time for him to sort of step up and prove it, this is sort of the weekend for him to do it.
Carter, thoughts around this one? NZ, New Zealand, South Africa?
It'll be a good game. I think it's always a good game when these two play each other, and it's hard, man. Like I think the power through the Springboks pack is just kind of unmatched, and yeah, I'm not too sure. Like it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I think what are the conditions like? Do you know?
Probably hot.
It was
night
in
South
Johannesburg.
Africa.
You played there? In Joburg?
Nah, I haven't played in Joburg.
Yeah.
Nah, I
You
feel
sort
like
of
I'm
miss
going to
Super?
back Springboks though.
No, you're not.
Did you sort of get the chance to do much travelling with the Super Rugby before South Africa pulled out?
No, I was well, I think my first year at the Reds was just as like I was development at my first year at the Reds, and that was kind of when that was that last year of travel. And then just as I was kind of coming into my second year, that's when all that COVID happened in Japan and that dropped out and all that. So I didn't do too much travel.
D Mac will probably be the 10 for the All Blacks again. What's it like going against him when you've been on the other side?
Yeah, he's a freak.
Yeah.
I just think like the way he plays and the work that he does for his team, like it's kind of, you don't really realise the way that he keeps his forwards kind of going. Like he helps the forwards massively. Like he won't overplay the forwards. Like he'll put the ball in the right parts of the field to get his backs working, and I think that's like a big part of why the Chiefs are so good and can close out those last minute kind of matches, is because he keeps the forwards kind of moving forward, but he uses the backs to kind of do it, if that makes sense. So it's like he uses the whole 15 to play, and then geez, when he spots kind of like a gap, or like if he sees space so well and he's just got so much time. Like I know when I was D'ing and I'm like on the edge, I'm just looking at him to see where he's looking, because I know like I know a few times like I'll be on the open side and I'll see him looking short side and I'll be like, oh shit, and I'll hook it short side just to cover that. And then like they'll be shaping and then he'll go back the other way and but he goes on the other edge. So he was he's a freak. And
In the review, so Carter, what was your thought process here? Running
I'm just following him.
yeah, exactly. But he's such a good player, and I'm keen to see like him kind of keep growing as an international 10.
Yeah.
I think like he was given a little bit of a shot last year, but I'm keen to see now that he's kind of got the reins what he's going to grow into as a player.
All right, boys, picks. Where do we lean? Ree, start with you.
All Blacks.
I think,
Springboks.
I think the series is going to be split. The All Blacks are going to get one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go. They're going to go out and get this one.
ABs.
ABs.
Last time they were in Joburg, they won too.
I think they've got a relatively good record in Joburg.
Yeah.
And it's random. Some reason in South Africa there is actually like a little cult following behind the All Blacks.
Mm-hmm.
So then I think it's a lot of the darker bodies over there that sort of get around the haka and get around stuff like that, because obviously South Africa had a lot of political sort of issues with their team. So they do get a little bit of fan base behind them in South Africa. So I'll back them in Joburg. Close game though.
Yeah.
And
that 7.5 line. Take that.
I wouldn't be surprised if the points are under 2.
Yeah, right. Well, last time it was 12-11 in that grand final, World Cup. So we'll see.
Yeah, we had 14 players, but
Okay, mate, still salty.
You allowed to pick lines and stuff yet?
No, you can't do games.
Not yet, not yet.
Leave him out of that.
I wasn't sure. He's not up from RA anymore.
Yeah.
no, rugby league, they do whatever they
6 months, I
want.
think. 6 months.
6 months. Oh,
Oh yeah.
it's 6 months. True.
Okay. I'll go the All Blacks too. I reckon I'll join you, Ree. Get it done.
Yes.
Let's go to Argentina. The Wallabies, $3.10. Argentina, $1.33. The line 7.5. Wallabies trying to bounce back here. Argie's playing all right. I'll start with you, Tyler. Can we get it done? Who's at 12, firstly? What are we doing there?
That's a tough one. Did they take Davey over with them?
Yeah.
At your 12. See, I'm a big fan of Davey in terms of he'll get them over the game line and play very similar role to Hunter.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, there's obviously Hamish Stewart.
I reckon that's where they'll go.
Obviously, safe defender, another ball player, good kicking option. And the thing with Hamish is I don't think I've ever seen him have a bad game. He's just consistently good at what he does. A bit like Angus Blythe. You always know what you're going to get from him. So it'll be interesting what to do there. I don't think we'll see the fluke Leonard Kittel combination. I think they're both sort of genuine 13s. So I'd like to see them go Davey, but I think they probably will go Hamish.
What's your thoughts around that 10-12 chat at the moment?
Yeah, I'm thinking Hamish as well. I think I love playing with Davey, but from all reports, I think they're kind of chasing a second ball playing 12. So someone who can take a bit of pressure off Noah or whoever's playing 10. I haven't seen the teams, but yeah, I think someone who can take a bit of pressure off Noah for second phase and kind of run the ship alongside him. So I reckon they'll probably do Hamish coming from, he played 10, obviously growing up at the Reds, and he's moved into 12 with the Force, but he could still slot back into 10 if he needed to.
Have you been following the Wallabies at all this sort of season? How close do you watch it now, post?
Dead to me.
Yeah, I actually haven't really watched it.
Yeah.
I've seen glimpses of it, or I'll flick it on, but it's actually on the same time as what league games are on. So I'm still trying to get as much knowledge.
Studying
as
the
I can.
game.
Yeah.
So it's I do flick it over though. If I got my iPad or something, I'll chuck it on that, and if anything exciting's happening, I'll quickly jump on and watch it. But yeah, I'm not really watching it too closely now.
Did Joe Schmidt ever reach out to you at the start of all this?
Yeah, I spoke to him a little bit, kind of early on around.
Yeah.
I think he was just reaching out to guys who were off contract and all that stuff, just kind of seeing what was happening. And
Yeah, okay.
yeah, it was pretty interesting. He's such a good bloke, and he just seems like he's going to put the boys in a good spot. So I'm interested to see how he's going to go as head coach too.
Reen, what do you think for this one? Can the Wallabies get a win here? Tough place to play.
Nah, surely. Wallabies, yeah. I'm picking them.
You play in Argentina ever? No. Wallabies bounce back.
Yeah.
Carter?
Hope so. Don't laugh at me.
On the fence.
No. I hope they win. I'll be a Wallabies supporter until I die.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope they do the best they can.
Yeah. What do you think? Where do you lean here, Tyler?
I'm leaning Argentina.
Oh.
And sorry, I broke the trend. I'm a bit worried about the Wallabies type 5. I know they've had the week off, but obviously you've got how many of them are coming off
2 posts
concussion
back, I think.
protocols? Yeah, that's a big in,
Helps, yeah.
huge in. But obviously, I think Angus Bell got concussed. James Slipper's been concussed. Luke Hahn's been concussed. Jeremy been concussed.
Yeah.
They've had so many concussions in that you you're bringing in 4 guys coming off head knocks. That's sort of a big ask, and you're also bringing in Nella, who's actually missed. He hasn't played for a month now. I know he ran around for brothers.
Yeah.
So I think that's a sort of big ask to bring that much power into your type 5. And we saw how good the type 5 was for Argentina, or the forward pack in general against the All Blacks in that first test, and then the second half of the last test. So I think that's a sort of area of weakness for the Wallabies. Keen to see if BPA gets a start.
Yep, I think that's a good inclusion.
Kangaroo Most is obviously another one. But yeah, I'm leaning Argentina in a close one here. And solely off last week's performance because they had such a
Bounce back.
unreal game against the All Blacks, then got absolutely flogged in half a footy.
Now they're back at home.
Now they're back at home.
Yep.
Saw what they did to France at home. That's sort of why I'm leaning in the Argentina 1 to 12 zone.
Have you heard from
Does
Joshy
Joshy
Cannon?
get a nod?
He might be a crack on the bench, I reckon.
Really?
Have you heard from him at all? Have you reached out?
I message him every now. He doesn't really like to say a lot, eh?
Yeah, okay. Because he knows what you'll say on here.
Nah.
Trust you.
I think he doesn't want to get his expectations up.
I hope he gets a run. He's such a good player.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he's
So good.
underrated, and I think he coming through. He's going to be kind of a lock-in lock
Yeah.
for the future. He's just now he's starting to get a bit heavier and starting to get a bit bigger upper body. Like he actually won the yo-yo at Rebels a few years
Really?
ago. Yeah.
What?
Like and he
What?
crazy. Like they stopped him from doing any fitness just to put on weight.
Real?
Yeah. So he's
Weapon.
Fucking hell.
he's a freak, and
Didn't tell us that.
big
Yeah.
future for him.
Skills as well.
Because that's what Chatty was saying, like, Les Kiss, put on size. Joe Smith needs to get bigger.
Yeah.
But that 27 World Cup, he could be one of our main locks for sure.
Oh,
Yeah, I think he will. He's
Yeah.
he's like that whole package. He's I don't know if he'll be fit then when he gets that heavy, but he's he's skillful. He's got good communication, and he's got like this rare kind of form of like aggression. Like you don't see
Mongrel.
you don't see it too often now. Like I feel like it's something that's like leaving the game because like IQ's coming in a bit more, whereas he's kind of got it all and he's super aggressive. And now that he's getting heavier and getting stronger, he's going to be actually ragdolling people. So
Yeah, he throws his weight around for sure.
You know, the first time I saw that calling that UQ game,
Yeah.
he showed a bit of mongrel. He got a bit angry.
Oh, bro.
Like,
And the malls, he's like,
yeah.
it's got to be illegal.
I want to say it.
You see all the locks doing shit in the malls, and you're like,
He's got
Nah, that
he's got a
can't
bit
be
of
right.
cunt in him.
He's got
I
plenty
know
of
people
that.
don't want to say the word,
He's got
but
plenty of that.
he's got that little bit of cunt on him that sometimes he's like, I'm bigger than you. I think I'm better than you.
Yeah.
And he goes out and sort of fucking uses that
we
weight.
probably need that in Aussie rugby.
Uses that size behind him.
yeah, but to the point, like it's not even just on the field. Like if you're messing with him in the change,
oh my goodness,
It's
don't
100
talk about
times
his
worse.
Really?
off-field antics.
it's 100 times worse.
What,
like
just a
You
pest?
do this to him, and he'll be like this.
yeah,
And then it would just keep going, and he
Like-
won't stop.
he won't stop until he's like, boys bigger than him like are scared because of how he reacts.
Right.
I put him through a wall at my house.
Yeah.
You did.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You're not
'cause
moving him, mate. What are you talking about?
I had work the next day. He comes in at like 10 o'clock at night, flicks the light on, then lays in my bed. And I'm like, go turn the light off. And he's like, nah. And I was like,
Those
turn
guys
the
are the
fucking
worst.
light off. And he's like, no. And I was like, if I have to get up and turn the light off, I'm going to be so pissed off. And he's like, all right. I get up and turn the light off, come back over, and then we just like start throwing. And then I ended up putting him through my wall.
To be fair, you're a bit like that too once you get going. Get a
Like,
bit
angry? Nah, I'm
Bit
like
of mongrel?
sad.
Gets one beer in him.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is. All right, so Wallabies, Argentina, I'll back Australia to get it done.
Yeah.
Bounce back. Let's talk about a bit of club rugby, boys. Queensland Grand Final, obviously your mob. West beat UQ 39-27. Your brother played a hell of a game. Sururu was back, but Lou Wershawn was strong. Did you catch it?
Yeah, I watched most of it. I actually went and watched the game before in person too. And yeah, like I said, like when kind of Louis and Mason get working together, they play really well.
Yeah.
Louis like pretty similar, like that fiery halfback, where Mason's a bit more chill. So they kind of work well with each other, and then they've got a good forward pack there. And then having guys like Sully and that come back into the team really helps bolster that that back three.
Sururu was fucking unreal again. Tyler, what did you make of the game?
I can be honest with you, I probably only watched the highlight package.
That'll work.
Didn't get a chance to watch it as I was drinking. I am going to lie about it. Yeah, so, but no, like we sort of predicted West, and I think with those inclusions that they've had, for me, they're the front runner to win it this week. I just think they've got all the talent. Their forward pack's immense. Like they're big, they're strong, they're physical, and they get over the gain line. And I think the back line, with the inclusion of David Vayu and LeBron last
He
week, was huge.
Yeah.
Like both those players are quality footballers, both coming off Super Rugby seasons, and it really sort of pumped up their midfield. It looked like they got them a lot more go forward and got their big forwards around the corner. So for me, West looking dominant, and I think it's West's game to win this week. And not discounting brothers, obviously they're a champion team with sort of O'Connor running the mixer. It always sort of helps, but I just think the forward pack and the outside backs of West are just too strong.
I'm not going to ask you watched it. No, you didn't.
Huh?
Did you watch the game the weekend?
No.
No. Okay. What do you think about this weekend? What are your thoughts?
Brothers. I'm still sticking with brothers.
Too good.
They just know how to win. They know how to grind out games. They know how to do things that you don't want to be doing in defence, and especially in attack as well. They play in the right areas of the field. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with brothers. Called it earlier.
Carter, last time West won the comp, you were the main man at 10. Can they do it again?
Yeah, I think so. I think watching that game last week where they played each other, I think one thing I noticed was just how brothers just kind of bashed down the front door, just tried to go through them in the forwards, and then by the end of the game, the West were cooked. So having guys like Rabs and that to kind of control the game, if they're bashing down front door and then he's putting the ball in corners and making you run back, it's going to be tough. But I think, like you said, with those inclusions, if West can kind of front up a bit more in D and like get a bit of mongrel about him off the line, then I think it'll be a real tight game. And I think if it comes down to it, I actually think West will come through.
Get it done. Yeah. How is Mason? Have you spoke to him after that game on the weekend? He's excited about it?
I actually haven't spoken to him. I was meant to play golf with him yesterday, but yeah, couldn't be bothered driving back to Brizzy. But yeah, I think we'll catch up just before that game and see how he's feeling. He's normally pretty good with that stuff. He actually had a really good super season this year. He didn't play too many games, but like when we versed each other in training, like so when we versed the second team, he was just tearing our back three up. Like he was just kicking 50-20s, like 50-22, sorry. It was yeah, like every session I reckon he'd kick a 50-22. And we're our back three sitting there like, what's going on?
We know.
Yep, I feel that.
We copped it in the final.
I feel that.
Yeah. Excited. Are you going to be there on Sunday? You're going to go and watch?
Yeah, I'll go and watch. So keen to see them. West get another dub.
It's going to be pumping up there too, Ballymore. Can't wait. What do you think, Tyler? Can you pick?
Yeah, I'm back in West. I generally thought in the first game that a few balls bounce their way, they sort of finish off a couple of the big breaks they make, they would have won the game and sort of locked it up early, and they sort of allowed brothers to come back into the game. So for me, I'm definitely riding with sort of the West Go train this week.
Yeah,
I think that's where they're heading, and I think they've got all the opportunity to win it, and I think they want redemption after last year.
Yeah, I agree. I reckon West too. I'll back in to win. Especially if Uru's playing again. He makes the and Naya just gain line every time. All right, how good. Let's go back into you a little bit, Carter, to finish off. I wanted to sort of touch on quickly, I guess, people we obviously know you on the field. Like, what's Carter good and like off the field? What do you like, doing? What's your hobby? A bit of golf as well, I'm hearing?
Yeah, I play golf. Pretty chill, eh? Like, I don't really do too much else. Like, especially this year, I find in season, like, I was doing a lot of kind of kicking and stuff on my day off. So I'd go on kick and then just go home and chill and not really do too much. I got 2 dash hounds and a girlfriend at home, so it's
busy.
Yeah, well, we were living with Mason last year, whereas now it's just us and the dogs, and we're kind of settling in, trying to get the dogs to settle in a little bit, and yeah, it's been good just unloading the house and been enjoying it. Like been down to the beach a few times and yeah, pretty chill. Like I don't really do a whole lot. Play a bit of golf, a little bit of surfing, and other than that, just chill.
So interesting, man.
Not a whole lot.
A little bit of golf, but I have heard a rumour that you were a very good golfer. Handicap?
I actually don't know exactly what it is.
Wait, didn't you play with someone like...
Yeah, I saw that photo with you and, what's his name?
Sure, someone told me you play off scratch.
The Aussie dude. What's his name?
Cam Smith.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, I think I'm there or thereabouts at the moment. Yeah. So
he's saying humbly golf, but I've heard that he's a very good golfer.
The thing is, though, like, the way like a 15 handicapper looks at a scratch golfer is kind of like how a scratch golfer looks at like a +3 golfer. Like I'm there. Like I played the other day and I felt like I hit terrible shots, but I still managed to like have a good score, like not too bad score. Whereas like I go out and play with some guys who are off like +5, and I'm like in awe.
Yeah.
And it's just like these guys, like it kind of just ends up being numbers at the end of the day, and it's just. But yeah, I've played golf a little bit for the last couple of years, and I've actually haven't played that much this year, but I'm trying to get back into it now. It's kind of I use it as a bit of like an escape tool.
Yeah.
Like when footy's getting a bit much, or I just want to get out of the house, just get off my phone for 4 hours, just kind of even if it's just by myself, just get out and hit a little white ball around.
You're gonna love the Gold Coast, mate. Good lifestyle for you. Play a bit of footy.
What is it, like 36 golf courses on the Gold Coast?
Yeah, maybe, right?
Yeah, I think I've played like 3 of them, so I've got a few to catch up on.
You reckon you saw sort of D-Mac do it? He went and played in the NZ Open. Could we see Carter Gordon off-season, Aussie Open, having a little whack around?
Yeah, down at Royal Pines, we've got a tournament here, I think, a big one.
Oh, I'd be pretty sick, but I don't know if I'd be able to do it.
The mullet, we're going to see that again in the league? You'll fit right in with that.
Nah, I don't think so. Like, I might
Bring
just,
it back.
I don't know if I can bring it back to that extent. That was
It was all on.
Was it the
Yeah.
intercept try?
yeah.
Gone.
I had
This
it.
is like-
It was just
It
blowing.
was past my shoulders, bro.
Slow motion.
It was past my shoulders. I don't think like. Looking back on it, I thought it was the sickest thing ever, but
This is mad.
yeah, I was like,
Pretty
this
cool.
is-
While we tanned the mullet, it was pretty cool. I'll give you that.
yeah, like I thought it was sick. But when I cut it, I actually felt good about cutting it. I got a bit of heat and stuff, and like, oh, why would you cut it and all that stuff? But I felt good cutting it. Like I might kind of grow like a subtle one out, but nothing to that extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any final questions, boys, for Carter before we look through the rapid fire?
Yeah, I got some.
Here we go. What do you got?
Do like kids in league recognise you as a Wallaby, or do they just see you and just
Nah, kids have no idea. Eh?
really?
Who's this?
Like I went to a signing session the other day before the game, and it's just like out the front of the stadium.
Give it. Give
And
it.
I always have to ask the kids or something. No, they're coming up, they're walking past like, who's that? So I was, yeah, it's pretty funny. Like, obviously, because Union's not on free to wear,
Yeah,
you don't really see the games too much anymore. Whereas League, it's on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't really recognise you if you play Union.
Yeah.
Which is that's another discussion in itself. We talk about every week, but it's a shame.
Yeah.
Not getting into it this week.
Yeah, no, we won't go there.
Bloody Stan.
No, mate, it's on free to air. Show and I. Who are you talking about?
Yeah, you're the only one I think. Fist pump, Stan, get in the deal, but keep your job.
No, and Show and 9, mate. It's
Oh.
the same thing, mate. Relax. Yeah, it keeps me employed. Any funny stories on tour that comes to mind over your time? Whether it's Rebels or Wallabies or any funny teammates that, comes to mind?
Stop looking at him, Marine.
Nah, I can't really. I've got a few stories around, but
What?
nah, I can't. I don't even know. Like, I'm sure I've got heaps that I would remember
Yeah.
after I leave, but I can't think
the
of
moment.
anything coming to mind. Yeah,
Best memory as a Wallaby?
debuting.
Yeah.
I think as well, like maybe scoring that try on debut. I know I've carried on a little bit with a bit of a dive, but I remember
Play on.
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
that like as soon as I kind of got into the backfield, I knew I was going to score. I was like,
I'm doing something sick here.
yeah, I was kind of like on a bit of another level, but that was probably my favourite memory.
Lovely. All right, we'll do a bit of a rapid fire questions to finish off. That's all right, and then we'll look to wrap things up. All right, worst teammate to room with?
What do you mean? We sat there watching Casey Frey for like 2 hours.
Oh yeah. Worst roommate to room with. I've been blessed with good roomies last couple of years, but I'd probably say I room with Lalakai Feketi in South Africa, and he snores the house down.
Right.
So I'd say he was a great roommate, but the snoring killed me.
Who's the most famous person that's been in your DMs? Anyone that comes to mind?
You can't really.
No one really slides into my DMs. So
Or contact
He's
list?
got a missus.
No,
Gotta miss, mate.
Why are you trying to get him in
Jeez.
trouble,
Oh,
bro?
It could be blokes,
Every week
mate.
you're trying to
Why
set
is that
someone up.
shit?
You're always
I
trying
was
to
talking
switch
about
people
other
up.
athletes, men. It doesn't have to be women, you fucking dirty guy.
He's straight.
Jeez.
I actually had Dan Cutter like one of my photos.
There we go.
There we
That's
go.
what I was
That's all we
going
want.
for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool.
Thank you. Fucking hell. Biggest night out, you got 3 teammates joining you. Who are they?
I got to say Josh Canham for one, and then 3. Kind of depends on the direction you want to go in, I guess. But it's
Don't look at me.
I actually don't know. I'd go Joshy Canham, Glenn Vahu. And then I'd honestly probably go my brother as well. I feel like it would be a good little quad setup.
Like it. What's something no one knows about you?
Oh, well, I was going to say scratch golf a bit. I think kind of know now. So that's the only thing I've got.
What does that mean, scratch?
Playoff 0.
I'm
You have
pretty-
no handicap.
Pretty boring person.
It means you're fucking good.
Means you're good. There's not many people that play off scratch.
Nice, man.
I came across this question the other day. If there was one stat you'd like to know about your life, what would it be? So like, how many beers drunk you've had in your life? How many? I
Don't want to know that stat.
Is there anything? What would you want to know? Hard one, I know, but
Yeah, it's kind of
the beers one would be interesting. I
It's
like
kind
it.
of a deep thinking question, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's keeping it simple, man.
Oh no, he's an intelligent guy. Work it out.
Or at least queue him up.
Yeah. I'd probably say
Rapid fire.
yeah. This is
Tough one. All right.
I don't know. I'd probably say just like how many like hours I've given away by sleeping in.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like, and I'd say sleeping in is past like 7:30.
Not a morning riser.
I wasn't growing up. I feel like a little bit more am now because we start training earlier. But even on the days off now, sometimes I can just end up on my phone in bed until like 10:30. It's just like how many hours I've given away.
Rian slept until 12:30 on Sunday.
Yeah, he was in bed at 5. Wait,
Yeah, it's different if you're waking up at
in bed
all hours of the morning for during the week, but I'm not.
wait till summer here. His sunrise at 4 a.m. in the morning, and you'll be wide awake. All right, last question. When it's all said and done, Carter, what do you want your lasting legacy to be?
Lasting legacy. Honestly, like I guess just want to be known for like a hard training, hard playing kind of footy player. I think like someone like Dane Halipetty, someone you can go talk to, open, but yeah, I'd say the main thing is just being a footy player.
Yeah,
like just going out there and trying my hardest in training, making sure I'm not missing a beat, not kind of taking an easy option and that stuff. So I guess that's kind of it.
I like it, man. So what's next for you now? You got a bit of time off. When's pre-season start?
Yeah, so we've got 2 more weeks. Titans play this weekend and then next weekend, and then after that it's I think it's something like 8 weeks or something off. So got a bit of time, which would be nice, just kind of settling a bit more to Goldie and find my feet a little bit, and then kind of I reckon I'll still go into training a little bit and catch up with some coaches and that, just to keep trying to get my head around it and keep things ticking over for the pre-season. But that's kind of it for me then.
Nice,
Wait,
man.
first Rugby League Mad Monday. Are you looking forward to
I was thinking
it?
the exact same thing. I was like, 2 weeks, Mad Monday.
Rugby League Mad Monday.
Yeah, got I've actually got one for Tweed this weekend.
Yeah.
Or this week.
Oh, look out.
So I got a double back-to-back weeks, and then Titans one. So a few boys are kind of eyeing me up and give me.
We're about to show you, mate.
You're coming to our level now, buddy. It's I'm pretty keen to kind of rip in with the boys for a big one.
Yeah, fucking nice.
Anyway, boys, any final questions for Carter? All good?
No, all good.
No,
Kyle?
I'm out of questions.
Awesome. Carter Gooden, thank you very much, mate.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
All good.
Get rid of the sternum law.